talk a little bit just about where we are today from a market structure standpoint and kind of what are you looking for moving forward? So are there specific milestones? Are there specific things happening with the on-chain data that you'll say, hey, this is going to be a big moment. We don't know when it'll happen, but I'm looking for it. Or is it more so you just wait till the on-chain metrics develop and then analyze what kind of happens in real time?
Yeah, right now the big story is like, when does this accumulation band pop? It sounds almost funny, if you talk to people on crypto Twitter, because everyone's so bearish, saying we're in a bear market, and I'm like, this is a bull market. There's no mistaking this. Like, we've got X-ray vision on what the investors are doing, and it's bullish whilst price is sliding downwards. And I think the next major event is when the fundamentals squeeze the price action, and we break out of this, what I'd call a reaccumulation band, right in the middle of a bull market, like a bearish shock that is now being shrugged off. So that's the next thing I'm looking for. And then typically, once, we usually get a few pullbacks within a bull run. This is a really weird one, a whale powered pullback. But after that, I'm really interested in seeing how the tail end of this bull market develops, because this bull market is, it's structured unlike any I've seen before. And the market of, the whole market is completely different. We've got very well developed futures and derivatives and options. And now we've got, large ETF instruments. And we've got a lot of leverage in the system, BlockFi, these kind of loans, and a lot of hidden leverage like that. So it's getting to become a more complex beast. And I think we've already seen the way the price is moving, this epoch, this halvening epoch, 4-year cycle. It's unlike anything. It's not smooth. It's lopsided, volatility all over the place. And I'm just really interested in seeing how that structures later on. I'm not predicting, waiting for some event in the end of the year. I'm more like using on-chain as a map to try and get a grasp of what exactly is happening in the market. And I have no idea what's going to happen in fourth quarter. We've got like a nation state coming on board. What would that look like on-chain? We've got Lightning Network with that nation state starting to fire up. And so there'll be a lot of activity locking into that and taking it off the chain, and trying to see if we can get some data on that. So yeah, it's kind of a wait and see, and like figuring it out as it comes. People like to cite that I have an opinion, like I make a prediction. All I'm doing is reading off the model. And like I get the luxury of saying the target is a moving target because the model keeps changing, because it's basically, a moving average over the market cap is what it's based on. And it's hit every top in the history of Bitcoin, 12-year history. Not saying it'll do it this time because it's such a weird cycle, but that top model, and there's another model which frames the bottom, they give me an idea of where the top may be. And first quarter of this year, we were ranging up to the $300,000 to $400,000 range. Right now, the top model is $157,000 today. Of course, it moves, and so really, it's looking. I don't know if we squeeze out of this accumulation band like I'm expecting, I would say that we'll start curving upwards and we're in the $250,000 to $350,000 range. Sounds a bit ludicrous right now, but that's what the model says. If we hit it, don't know if it will. So I'm not entirely sure if we'll get a squeeze, but historically we do squeeze. So squeezing meaning we get a very violent move, and this time it'll be a short squeeze because everyone's shorting, so it'll move to the upside. So I kind of expect it, but right now I'm not seeing enough open interest to see anything really very violent. But I do think you're right in that as this thing starts to pick up momentum and it shakes off all of this crazy bearishness of not only did we have all this crappy energy fossil fuel narrative thrown at Bitcoin, then we had on top of that China shutting down all of their mining, which will take apparently roughly 6 months for all those miners to really move that infrastructure and set it up and redeploy it. So the hash rate of the networks, I think, what is it, 40% down or something ridiculous. So there's a lot of bearishness that's been thrown on Bitcoin. It's still chugging along at, price pulled back 50%, but it's still doing well. So if we shake that out, and then we've got, you look at the picture we're seeing where we've got, sovereign wealth funds that haven't really been much of a story, but and I'm quite interested in these non-speculative hodlers at very large scales like sovereign wealth. Like El Salvador loading up 150 million for their trust. I think Singapore loaded up on some Bitcoin. But there's a number of sovereign wealth funds that I think must be looking at accumulating. Yet, I don't think we've seen much of that yet. And I think that's a story for like the fourth quarter of this year, maybe, if it happens. And if it happens, then that's going to really change the cycle because we have that kind of buying power on typically what we'd expect to be near the end of a bull market. We could see a really different cycle. I kind of wonder if the cycle, I'm calling it different. Like Dan Howard's calling this a super cycle. I'm thinking this might be the last cycle, meaning at this point, Bitcoin doesn't see this very strongly imprinted 4-year cycle. And we do more of a random walk, and it's highly correlated to macro. And we just random walk all the way up to $1 million in a few years.
Willy, do you think that's the top? Why $1 million? Why not 10 million or 500
$1 million plus? What is it? There's no top to Bitcoin because fiat has no bottom, was it? I think that we're the monetary base of civilization is about to be reset, more than reset, reinvented. I'm looking at this. It's like people are looking at this as reset of the long-term debt cycle. Reinventing money. Money gets reinvented every roughly 100 years, and I'm like going, well, if you look at when money was invented, that was the agrarian age, So we shifted from not trading to actually using money in agriculture and all this technological advancements, and that led to civilization. And I think this is the same thing. We're going from this kind of industrial age to a digital age, but it's a real first reinvention of money since the agrarian revolution. It's a 1 in 10,000 year event. It's not a 100-year reset. So the top on it is roughly 1-to-1 to world GDP and market cap, which is what, 100 trillion? Mm-hmm. I think I concur with Plan B. Plan B is 100 trillion. And that might be a quadrillion by the time more money gets printed.